It's taken a really long time for the mainstream media to catch up with what fans have been saying for years, but it is now obvious to nearly everyone that there's a massive problem with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The end of Phase 4, beginning of Phase 5 of the MCU has been a disaster. You have these streaming series on Disney Plus that cost over $200 million to make and end up being watched by virtually no one. You have movies with ballooning budgets, with increasingly fewer people actually showing up to support you at the box office. And it's led to a lot of people to say, hey, you know what? If the MCU isn't completely dead, then it absolutely has a terminal illness and is dying. And now that the media is finally coming out and admitting what we knew the truth about so many years ago, it looks like Marvel is finally being forced to respond to this and maybe be forced to change what they're doing. We heard the other day when this big news came out about Daredevil Born Again, one of the series that could really make or break the future of the MCU, because this is a character, these are stories that we saw done so well on Netflix. Well, now to bring it in and have it be done, but in MCU style, a lot of people were very worried it would be a disaster, and it looks like Marvel thought it was. They fired all of the writers. They fired all the future directors. They're basically hitting pause and rebooting the entire thing in the middle of production and changing the way they do these series on Disney Plus. No longer will they just say, yeah, let's make a 12-episode series, spend $250 million on it, no problem. No, they're going to go back to what they had been doing on TV for decades. Pilots, people that are actually experienced with television coming in and crafting a story instead of the dog shit that they're churning out. And now we're hearing that when it comes to their movies, there may be some master plan out there for Kevin Feige to erase all of this bullshit that has not been working for them. And a lot of it is coming from this new book that just released. MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios book, chronicles the rise of Hollywood's most dominant players. Well, with over 100 different interviews from producers and actors and writers, people that worked on the MCU, they've revealed some things about what's going on. Reign of Marvel Studios has basically confirmed Secret Wars will launch a soft reboot of the MCU. That might be encouraging to hear. Unfortunately, Secret Wars isn't scheduled to come out until 2027. It might be too late by then. Past characters will return. T'Challa, Tony Stark, Steve Rogers. Basically, the Sony Spider-Man universe will be part of MCU canon, and a fresh coat of paint will kind of be applied to the entire MCU. You know, if it's done with Avengers Secret Wars, which right now is set to come out in 2027, like I said, that might be fucking too late for a lot of people. You know, it's interesting that, this stuff is coming out and kind of confirming some stuff that we've heard for months, that Secret Wars could potentially launch a reboot of the universe, and then they would bring the X-Men in, they do all this stuff. But at that point, who's still going to be around to watch the MCU? We've heard the projections for something like The Marvels might have the worst opening weekend in MCU history. We've seen the numbers for the recent streaming series like Secret Invasion. It looks like Loki. A lot of people are not engaged with Loki. It looks like a massive audience drop-off from that first season. And now we're hearing from multiple different sources that it looks like Kevin Feige has a plan to change everything because it's not working. Kevin Feige has a plan to reboot the MCU with Avengers Secret Wars. We have a quote from Kevin Feige sort of implying that, like, Secret Wars will serve as a soft reboot in which they can prune everything. That's not, to use a Lokiism, prune everything that's not working and keep what is, or bring back people you thought were gone forever. From Joanna Robinson, writer of the MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios. Unfortunately, it may end up being too little too late. Only time will tell. But the very fact that we're hearing this, both about the movies and about the Disney Plus TV series, that they're basically all these leaks coming out, hey, we're changing everything, guys. There's a lot of stuff that's not working. Yeah, no shit. People have been telling you that. Fans have been telling you that as they've been walking away for over 2 years now. And Marvel continued to refuse to listen. The mainstream media covered for them. Well, now that the mainstream media has made a turn on Marvel, they are now also admitting internally and externally that things are fucked up and that they need to change. Will that happen anytime soon? Will these changes actually be good? Will it be about more than just the way they do things and instead the attitude in which they approach them, the stories that they tell, maybe not so heavily focused on identity politics? None of that is guaranteed. But one thing is for sure, the first step is admitting there's a problem. We've all seen it for years, and now Marvel's being forced to admit it too. Let me know your thoughts about all this in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.